In recent years, the world has been observing not only the robotization of industry, logistics, and services, but also how autonomous systems are gradually entering the sphere of law enforcement functions. While many still associate such technologies with delivery services or drone entertainment shows, inside the US closed experiments are already underway to use robots to support urban patrol and surveillance. The focus is no longer limited to the military and defense research. According to insider information, certain federal units, including U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and divisions responsible for street security, have begun allocating budgets and resources for training and testing humanoid and quadruped robots for territory control and interaction with civilians. The goal is not to replace a human with a robot holding a baton at a crosswalk, but to create assistants that enhance the capabilities of law enforcement officers. In large cities, where population density and the number of critical situations are high, automating routine tasks can become a significant support tool. According to sources within the structure, dozens of prototypes from leading American companies, ranging from autonomous humanoids to quadruped platforms, are already undergoing testing. These robots are being evaluated in environments close to urban neighborhoods, night streets, and the perimeters of major facilities. They are trained to recognize objects, detect anomalies, track human movement, and interact with remote operators in control centers. Why have such robotic platforms become attractive to agencies responsible for security? The answer is simple. The workload on patrol units is increasing. The amount of data from cameras, sensors, and drones is growing, and human resources are limited. A robot capable of autonomously patrolling a perimeter, documenting violations, and transmitting information to a center is not science fiction, but the near future. The key element here is artificial intelligence and perception systems. A robot must understand its environment, recognize people, animals, vehicles, potential threats, and assess situations in context. Therefore, one of the tasks currently being actively developed is training AI so that it can identify anomalies in human or object behavior and notify an operator about potentially dangerous situations. ICE and similar services are interested not only in navigation or basic monitoring. According to insider information, they are studying the possibility of integrating such platforms into a unified urban surveillance network, together with cameras, motion sensors, facial recognition systems, and municipal situation management centers. This makes it possible not only to record events, but to predict them using AI, shifting from a reactive model to a proactive one. It is important to emphasize that there is currently no discussion of armed robots or machines independently using force. Leaked internal documents stress that any interaction with civilians will be controlled by a human, and robot autonomy is limited to observation, patrol, logistics, and assistance tasks. Another trend is robots as part of the smart city. Many American mayors are already funding pilot projects where robots participate in public events, assist tourists, and patrol public spaces at night. Such projects show that public perception of autonomous platforms is gradually changing, with people beginning to see them as neutral tools rather than frightening movie technology. It is also interesting that similar programs are underway in other countries. In Europe, models are being tested for border control and large campus patrol. In Asia, they are used to guard public areas and transport hubs. This means that the idea of using robots in law enforcement functions is not unique, but part of a global trend toward the digitalization of security. Another important aspect involves legal and ethical questions. Autonomous systems record data, movements, and human activity. Issues of privacy, personal data processing, and image rights are becoming central. Therefore, discussions within U.S. federal services emphasize that such systems must comply with strict legal and regulatory standards. This means that even if robots enable rapid documentation of violations, the final decision on actions must be made by a human officer. Technologically, these programs stimulate not only robotics, but also related industries, next-generation communication systems, distributed computing, high-resolution sensors, and big data analytics. What is being tested today in pilot programs of federal agencies may tomorrow be applied in commercial fields, from medical deliveries to infrastructure security. Looking at the near future, One can imagine a city where at night not only police cars patrol the streets, but also autonomous platforms, humanoids scanning the environment and transmitting video to a control center when detecting suspicious movement, quadruped robots accompanying crews in high-risk zones, and drones providing aerial overview at the same time. This may appear futuristic, yet such systems are already undergoing field trials. Although projects are still in the testing and pilot phase, investments are substantial. Law enforcement budgets are allocated not only for equipment procurement, but also for AI development, simulations, operator training, interaction protocols, and data security. This means that even if robots do not appear on the streets at scale tomorrow, the foundation for that reality is already being built today. Ultimately, the issue is not about robots fully replacing police officers or personnel of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. It is an evolution of tools that enhance human capability by relieving routine, dangerous, or repetitive tasks and allowing officers to focus on situations requiring human judgment and responsibility. If these trends persist, within 5 to 10 years, autonomous platforms may become a common element of urban security, and what sounds like a futuristic concept today could become a new standard of everyday life. Another layer that rarely makes headlines is the economics and market of security robotics. Once federal services and major cities begin testing autonomous platforms, an entire industry forms around them. Computer vision startups, secure communication providers, developers of digital dispatch systems for robot management, and sensor manufacturers. This quickly evolves into a multi-billion-dollar market where not only robot manufacturers benefit, but also companies supplying software, infrastructure, and analytics. Reliability and accountability in real-world conditions remain a separate concern. In laboratories, robots may perform confidently, but on city streets, conditions are far more complex. Rain, snow, crowds, non-standard situations, and aggressive behavior. Therefore, current testing focuses on resilience within chaotic urban environments. Robots are trained to operate in low visibility, high noise, communication disruptions, and to respond appropriately to human provocation. As a result, we are witnessing robots gradually moving beyond factories and warehouses to become part of urban security infrastructure. This is not a sudden revolution, but a slow evolution, from pilot projects to limited deployment and potentially to a future norm. It is precisely now that the rules of the game are being shaped. Who controls AI? What data is collected? How citizens' rights are protected? And how abuses are prevented? The answers to these questions will determine whether patrol robots become tools of security or sources of new tensions between technology and society.